Welcome to the Beau Show. What does it mean to be a woman? That is the question I am asking today, because the word woman, or even the concept of it, has become quite controversial. And that's a shock to many, including myself. It's also a question that our newest Supreme Court Associate Justice, Ketanji Brown Jackson, could not or would not answer.
Can you provide a definition for the word woman?
Can I provide a definition? No.
Yeah.
I can't.
You can't?
Not in this context.
So
I'm not a biologist.
The meaning of the word woman is so unclear and controversial that you can't give me a definition?
Senator, in my work as a judge, what I do is I address disputes. If there's a dispute about a definition, people make arguments, and I look at the law and I decide.
Well,
so I'm not.
The fact that you can't give me a straight answer about something as fundamental as what a woman is underscores the dangers of the kind of progressive education that we are hearing about.
The fact that a sitting Supreme Court justice could not define the word woman is a testament to how secular progressivism has warped the mind, just as Senator Blackburn has noted. And in Justice Jackson's words, she tries to frame the definition as if it is up for debate, meaning her job is to listen to two sides make the argument, and therefore the notion of what defines a woman could in fact be argued. This runs concurrent with the newest notion of transgenderism. According to the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, transgenderism refers to the broad spectrum of people who transiently or persistently identify with a gender different from their natal sex. According to Dov Feldberg, quote, only a decade ago, transgenderism was considered a psychiatric disease and was classified as gendered identity disorder. That term has been replaced by gender dysphoria and no longer appears in the manual as a mental illness. Just by virtue of the fact that this has changed may be indicative more of a cultural phenomenon than necessarily a medical or psychiatric one. In fact, the most recent DSM-5, as it is called, the main handbook for mental disorders, experienced the most significant changes or updates in culture-related diagnostic issues and sex and gender-related diagnostic issues. The new terminology, gender dysphoria, refers to the condition of feeling one's emotional and psychological identity to be at variance with one's birth sex. I reached out to psychiatry.org to find out more about why these updates were made and what influenced the changes, but have not received a reply. Because I want to know how much cultural consideration there has been to reflect these changes. The overall prevalence of transgender people in the general population is approximately 4.6 per 100,000 according to the stats by Arcellus et al., with prevalence increasing in the last 50 years. So does that mean that men and women are becoming more transgender? Or does it mean that culture has redefined the norms and thus more people are becoming transgender as a result? I have to be clinical about this and holistic in order to be fair. I don't want to take a side without knowing what is true. But remember that when it comes to science, it has been cherry-picked, as we saw in the COVID pandemic. What was once considered to be absolute rigorous science, like cloth masks working and a virus jumping from bats to humans, has now been turned upside down. And what is happening in society is that transgender athletes, or people born as men and changing their gender identity, are being allowed to compete as women. And they are winning. So while the overall prevalence of transgenders in the population is tiny, the impact on society and even athletics seems to be proportionally much bigger. This becomes more than just a clinical issue, and that has been manifest in the question that Justice Jackson was asked. Can you define woman? So we have to ask this question legitimately, because it is affecting so many elements of culture, society, and sports in ways that we wouldn't have imagined. I want you to look at this video created by a company called ÉGARD.
I think people's obsession with legacy is rooted in the idea of beating time. Close your eyes. Fast forward. You see your grandson He's running toward you, smiling. Give him a hug. Now look down at his wrist. He's wearing the watch you gave him. That's a legacy.
Elan Srulovich created Egard luxury timepieces as a way of honoring his father and the notion of legacy and measuring our most precious asset, time. He's made other very thought-provoking videos with this same spirit. If you remember when the razor company Gillette put out an ad during the Super Bowl that attacked toxic masculinity, Egard created a response film called What is a Man?
What is a man? Is a man brave? Is a man a hero? Is a man a protector? Is a man vulnerable?
This film was designed to show us the good in men, not the culturally stained desire to topple the patriarchy. So now Egard has a new film out in light of all that is happening, called What is a Woman? Check it out.
What is a woman? Is a woman a history of achievements quickly being erased? Is a woman a feminine force of nature? Is a woman a sister, a daughter, a mother? Is a woman the wonder of childbirth? Is a woman a caregiver? Is a woman a warrior who fought for her place? Is that now being taken away, soon to be forgotten? Is that not worth protecting?
Can you provide a definition for the word woman?
Can I provide a definition? No,
Yeah.
I can't.
And how long do we sit idly by and not stand for the sacred value of womanhood as it loses all meaning? Because we believe that womanhood is a birthright.
If you aren't moved by this video, I think you must be emotionally dead, because it touches on a cornerstone issue of our time. It asks the most culturally relevant question of our time. Are women the complementary feminine forces of nature? Are they mothers or birthing people? Egard believes that womanhood, this force of nature, is a birthright. Not birthing people, but a birthright. Even Dave Chappelle has said this in some of his recent specials.
Gender is a fact. This is a fact. Every human being in this room, every human being on earth had to pass through the legs of a woman to be on earth. That is a fact.
He got in a lot of hot water for that. But really, these things are facts. But the Egard video goes even deeper into the notion of womanhood, the femininity, the caregiving, the motherhood, the daughterhood, the sisterhood, the social aspects. You see, modern feminism tried to destroy what the concept of a man was at the expense of the masculine traditional man. It wasn't so much to empower women, but to reduce men, which is a very dangerous effect. Yet now feminists are caught betwixt and between because their very womanhood is being challenged by, no, not toxic men, but men who want to be women and claim that womanhood. I was able to speak to the CEO of Egard, Elan Srulovich, and I hope you enjoy our thoughtful conversation. I'm joined today by Elan Srulovich. He is the CEO of ÉGARD Watch Company. Elan, thank you so much for joining me today and taking the time. You started ÉGARD as a brand with the ethos of marking the precious asset of time. Why did you do that?
Well, the inception of the brand comes about from the relationship I have with my father. So when I was a kid, I went through this phase where I became a little bit obsessed with the idea of being limited and that people you love die. I was about 10 years old, and my dad came into the room. He heard me crying, and he told me, "Don't worry, you're not going to die for a long time," kind of took care of me. But that's where this whole idea of like time passing and all these things started. I was very young. And then as I got older, I went through some rough periods in my life, some really rough periods. And my dad helped me through them. He never gave up on me, always believed in me. So as he started getting older, you start thinking about these things again. Okay, well, the people who have helped me in my life are starting to get older. I want to pay them tribute. I want to honor them. And so my father was that person for me. And so I decided to make him a watch. I went looking for a watch first to buy one, and I was like, there's nothing that represents what I want to do here. And I had a design background and a prototyping background, so I was able to prototype a watch, build it, and that's kind of the inception of the whole company. So it's really just to honor the relationship I have with my father and everything he's done for me.